Good afternoon and welcome to this year's Our Saviour Lutherans Easter production. We would love it if you would join in singing in the next two songs.
Beauty that made was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood His mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. My chains are gone, I've been set free, and God my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood His mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood His mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. The earth shall soon dissolve like snow. The sun forbear to shine, but God who called me here below will be forever mine. Will be forever mine. You are forever mine.
Thanks, guys. Well, welcome again, those who are joining in person and those online and catching up later. Welcome to this year's Easter production, the case of the vanishing missing body, is it? What is it? Does anyone know? Quick. What's on the program? Come on. The vanishing body. So there's something missing. Bit of a giveaway being Easter and stuff, but it's a real joy that you come and just be with us in this time. Now, if this is your first time, as I said, my name's Adam. I'm on the team here, and I just want to particularly new people, if you haven't experienced this before, we would love to be able to have an opportunity to connect with you later. So in the pews in front of you, you've got these little cards. Everyone's looking around going, oh, okay, yeah, I saw what they are. Look, it's a way for us to know how we can support you. If you have any questions, you can do a couple of things. You can just take it home, and there's a little QR code that you can scan later, do a little online form, or if you want to fill it out, you can, like my son Jeb has, who lives at 7 Main Street. Apologies if there actually is a Jeb somewhere out there on 2 Main Street, but simple as that. And then you can just put it in the little blue boxes that are found in the foyer area. You also probably find there's these little offering bowls. Look, they're ways that people from this community want to support what we do here. If you do want to give, we appreciate that. And if you're like, oh, I don't have any money, that's all right, we got your back. Because on the back, there's another QR code, eh? QR codes. we're leveraging them to the nth degree. But look, seriously, what I want to just say now is hope you enjoy the time, but just a couple of housekeeping things, such as mobile phones. There's always one person that just forgets. So if you're that one person, make sure you just put it on silent or turn it off, because if it does ring, I'm going to get up and stop, and we'll make sure we know what that conversation's about. No, I can't promise that. I can't promise that. Well, maybe a little. The other thing is aisles. If you can keep them as free as possible. Sometimes our casts need to come in and out. Sometimes kids, sitting for an hour, toilet, they need to rush out. It's completely fine. Or even our ushers that need to come through, just keep them clear as you can. We don't want particularly a cast member to go... Because again, you might find yourself being that new cast member as punishment. If you need toilets, they're directly down the hall. Men's is the first one, and women's is my right, but your left. But just keep going around the corner, you'll find it. And in case of emergency, and we've been pretty good for a while, our track record's been pretty clean, touch wood. Myself and the ushers will help you direct to the most suitable exit. We've got a couple out the side here and one couple down the front, one end where you came in. If it does happen, we'll end up going down to the back of the church car park where the sign is. That's where our emergency sort of evacuation spot is. Other than that, we're going to have one more song which I encourage you to sing along to and get into the zone, and just then sit back and enjoy this year's Easter production, The Case of the Vanishing Body.
Song of ages to the is the greatest. Your name stands above them all thrones and dominions, all powers and positions. Your name stands above them all. Jesus, your name is the highest. Your name is the greatest. Your name stands above them all thrones and dominions, all powers and positions. Your name stands above them all, and the angels cry, holy, all creation cries, holy, you are lifted high, holy, holy forever. Hear your people sing, holy to the King of Kings, holy, you will always be, holy, holy forever. You will always be holy, holy forever.
Hi, my name's I See Clues, and I'm a detective, gumshoe, investigator, private eye, or whatever it is you want to call it. I bet you're wondering what the I See in my name stands for. Well, you can keep wondering. Parents can be very careless or even downright cruel when it comes to naming their children. Anyway, I have a story for you. It was a Sunday, just like any other, and I was catching up on my paperwork. Actually, I was bored out of my mind. I do despise paperwork. Anyway, all of a sudden, my assistant comes bursting in through the door, raving on about something. She seemed upset. You would be too if you had just burst.
Oh, wake up, Clues! This can't go on!
What can't go on?
This! I've just been doing the accounts. Have you seen all these unpaid bills?
You know I hate paperwork.
I don't care. It still has to be done. We've got expenses to cover. What about that holiday you promised me? When was the last time you even paid me?
Last week? Last month?
Try last year.
Well, take some money out of the cash box.
This is the last coin we have left. Half a shekel. And it won't last long.
Well, what?
Mr. Clues! Mr. Clues! Something terrible has happened!
What's happened, Micah? What's going on?
They arrested Jessie!
Oh no.
Why? What for?
Oh, he was so hungry that he stole a loaf of bread, and they caught him and he couldn't afford to pay for it. And now they're taking him to jail. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
See? I told you it wouldn't last long. Here.
Thank you so much. I hope I'm not too late.
Oh, well, let us know what happens. Clues! We badly need a proper high-paying case.
I know, but do you want someone to just come through the door, say...
His Holiness, the High Priest, Caiaphas.
Welcome, Your Holiness. I was just catching up on some paperwork.
Well, it appears the paperwork is winning.
What can we do for you, sir?
I wanted to hire the best private detective in all Jerusalem.
So you came to me.
No, I went to the best private detective, but he was away. Then I tried all the others. Finally, I had to come to you.
Would you like to sit down, sir?
What would you like me to investigate?
Late on Thursday night, we arrested a dangerous liar and troublemaker, a false prophet called Jesus. Now, the Sanhedrin, the Jewish governing council, found him guilty of blasphemy and sentenced him to death. So we took him to Pilate, who had him crucified last Friday. Are you aware of these events?
Oh, yes. The whole city was in uproar. I hear there was almost a riot. Everyone saying, nothing. Nothing at all important, really.
Anyway, today, his tomb was found empty. Apparently the body has disappeared, completely vanished. Even though there was a huge rock in front of the entrance, the tomb was sealed, and I can't believe it, there was a whole unit of Roman soldiers guarding it!
It sounds like you weren't taking any chances. Were you expecting something like this to happen?
No, Jesus did mention when he was alive he would rise again after 3 days.
And you believed
Well, of
him?
course not. Well, I was concerned that others might, and that his disciples might try and steal the body to say that he had. Anyway, it seemed that I was right. Jesus' disciples, they have started a rumour that he's risen from the dead, and if that rumour takes hold, we'll have more trouble than we had when he was alive.
I can see what you mean.
Well, so that the soldiers are now telling the correct story.
Don't you mean the true
It's
story?
the correct story.
Which is?
Well, that the disciples stole the body while the soldiers were sleeping. That's what I want you to prove. Get my drift? Marcus? Now, you will be handsomely rewarded for your efforts. Half now and half later, once you've solved this case to my satisfaction.
Wait just one moment. Shouldn't all those soldiers be executed by now? That is the penalty for sleeping on duty, is it not?
Oh, they're alive for the moment. Naturally, we'll need them to tell everyone their story so we can silence the rumours of that troublemaker's resurrection.
Excellent. I'd love to interview them.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. The guards have already been thoroughly cross-examined, and when I cross-examine someone, well, they stay cross-examined. Anyway, I've already told you the story they'll be telling everyone, and that's the story they'll be sticking to, as though their lives depended on it, just like yours.
Okay, but aren't you at all interested in finding out what really happened?
No, I'm more interested in putting this matter to rest for once and for all, and that would also be where your best interests lie.
But what about the truth?
Oh, what is truth? Interestingly, that's what Pilate said when he interviewed Jesus. For once, I agree with him. No, I think you'll find that all truth is relative. History is always written by the victors, and I intend to be one of them.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll need access to the scene of the crime and be able to interview any relevant witnesses that might have... Aside from the guards, of course.
And you shall have it. My servant Malchus, will remain here and make sure all the necessary arrangements. I had to make sure that this comes to a speedy and proper conclusion. It should be an open and shut case. And Detective Clues, do not even think about disappointing me. I would hate to see you or the lovely Miss Terry come to any harm. Do we understand each other?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Who does he think he is? How can he tell you how to solve this case?
He's the high priest. He's Caiaphas. He's a very powerful man.
Well, you were just saying that we needed a proper, high-paying case. There certainly will be one. It already is one.
But he threatened you. He threatened us. I've got a bad feeling about this, Clues. I don't like it at all. You should forget the money and just walk away.
It's too late for that now. You're on this case if you like it or not.
Well, I suppose we'd better get started then. Malchus, you are the high priest's chief servant, and I know you're not a stupid man. In fact, you'd need to be very, very intelligent just to stay alive in a place like that. Now, servants hear things, and they see things. A servant can be almost completely invisible until someone wants something, that is. What's your take on all this?
Well, I can tell you that the correct story that Caiaphas just told you is not quite the story that I heard the soldiers tell him this morning.
Do go on.
But it goes no further than this room, all right?
Our lips are sealed, aren't they, Miss Terry?
Okay, well, the soldiers, they were all pale and frightened, like they'd seen a ghost or something. They were raving about earthquakes and angels and this huge glowing figure that rolled away the stone. And they weren't asleep either. They were so frightened, they fainted dead away. But you didn't hear it from me.
Did you just hear something, Miss Terry? I certainly didn't.
Oh, no, I didn't hear a thing.
Okay. Well, I do know that Caiaphas and his cronies have been trying to get rid of Jesus for a long time now. His fate was sealed long ago. They had to wait, though, until they got him alone, away from the crowds, before they could dare to arrest him. It wasn't until one of his disciples, a guy called Judas, decided to betray him that they finally got their chance. Do you know they paid him 30 pieces of silver?
Judas. I would very much like to interview this Judas.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Why not?
Well, after Jesus was condemned to death, Judas returned the money. He came in and threw it at Caiaphas' feet, and then he went and hanged himself. I suppose that he realised and regretted what he'd done.
But why was Caiaphas so desperate to have Jesus killed?
And now to keep him dead.
Well, for starters, Jesus said he was the Son of God. And the crowds loved him. They followed him everywhere he went, and they hung on his every word. There was even talk about him being the promised Messiah. And you remember that big parade they had last Sunday? Where Jesus rode into town, into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey?
Oh, yes, it was so exciting. People were waving palm branches and saying Hosanna and shouting, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord," and calling him a king. Oh, I see what you mean.
Caiaphas and the other religious leaders, they're very protective of their power and authority. And they saw Jesus as a threat. He even dared to criticise them, and he called them hypocrites.
Well, they are, and everyone does it.
Oh, yes, but quietly and in the privacy of your own home. Jesus did it right to their faces and in front of all the crowds. And then last week, Jesus was at the temple and he overturned all the money changers' tables and he drove them out with a whip.
I can imagine Caiaphas went ballistic over that.
He went ballistic. There was other things he did as well.
The what sort of things?
Well, there was all these stories coming in about all the miracles that he performed. Miracles like stilling a storm and feeding 5,000 people with a few loaves of bread and a couple of fish. And then the healing. He was healing people of all sorts of incurable diseases and afflictions. The authorities, they tried to explain it all away, but they couldn't. The clincher came just the other day down in Bethany, where Jesus raised this guy to life.
So, with all this talk of miracles going on, did they ever once stop to consider that Jesus could be the Son of God or even the Messiah?
Well, it didn't matter if he was the Messiah. He wasn't the Messiah that they wanted. They knew that he couldn't control him. Plus, he flouted all their precious religious laws.
And what about you? What did you think of him?
Me? Well, I can tell you, I was with the soldiers when they went to arrest Jesus. When I was carrying a torch for my master, and when we found him, he was with a few of his disciples in the garden. And it was as if he expected us. He's asked us, "Who are you looking for?" And one of the soldiers said, "Jesus of Nazareth." And he said, "I am he." And it was in this voice that we just fell to our knees. And when he asked again, it was kind of weird, but the soldiers were more respectful. Anyway, Judas went up to him, called him rabbi, and kissed him. And one of the soldiers said, "That's him, get him." And I was brought forward, and in the rush, I was put forward, and then one of his disciples attacked me.
He attacked you? How?
He got his sword out and he was waving it and coming at me, and I tried to duck out the way, but he cut my ear off.
He cut it off?
Yes, he cut it off.
Like part way? Or he just nicked it?
No, he cut it clean off. It was lying there on the ground.
I'm a bit confused. Were you born with 3 ears or something?
3? Why would I be born with 3 ears?
Well, you're saying that one of your ears was cut off, but you still have 2 ears.
Sorry. Okay, I can see your confusion. All right, I haven't finished the story. All right. There was my ear lying on the ground. And Jesus, he came along, picked it up, and he put it back on.
Like he sewed it back on?
No, he just put it back on. It's good as new.
So, you're saying that your ear was cut off with a sword and poof, Jesus fixes it. Just like that.
Well, there was no poof. But yes, that's exactly what happened. It was one of his miracles.
Miss Terrier, my magnifying glass? On the desk. Thank you. I will determine if this is a real ear or not. Hold him still, please, Miss Terrier. It looks like a normal ear to me.
Look, I can understand if you don't believe me. I'm still trying to get my head around it as well. There we were, arresting Jesus, and he does that to me. And while he's doing it, he looks right into my eyes. And it's as if he can see straight into my soul. Those eyes were so full of love. Love from me. Even though he knew who I was and why I was there. You must think I'm crazy. Anyway, after that, they dragged him off to Caiaphas' house for this so-called trial with the Sanhedrin.
Oh, wait a minute. What's the Sanhedrin again?
The Jewish ruling council. Keep up, Miss Terry.
Anyway, I just followed along. I was in a daze. I just didn't know what to think. Do? I mean, nobody even came up to me and asked what had happened or see. It was as if nobody wanted to acknowledge what had happened. They just wanted to forget that Jesus had performed a miracle. And I couldn't help wonder, maybe these stories about him being the Messiah were true. Maybe I think I wanted it to be true. But then they killed him. And how could the Messiah, if he was the Messiah, how could he die? I just didn't know what to think after that. But now, there's these stories that he's risen again. And I just can't help but wonder, if he can heal my ear, and if he can raise other people from the dead, well, why can't he raise himself?
But we didn't hear that from you.
Right, no, you didn't hear it from me. Anyway, I better get back to Caiaphas. He'll be waiting for me, and believe me, you don't want to keep Caiaphas waiting. So I'll organise a tour or an inspection of the crime scene for you, and I'll organise to get an interview with Joseph, who's the owner of the tomb, and I'll just see who else I can dig up for you to interview too.
Thanks for that.
What do you think of his story? Do you think that he was telling the truth?
Well, he certainly seems to believe it. There weren't any of the usual tells that he was lying, at least. He paints a very different picture of Jesus than Caiaphas did. Mm-hmm. But then again, Caiaphas was lying through his teeth.
That's true. So, who is this Jesus?
So, what have we got?
All right. So, the first question is, who was Jesus? Was he a dangerous liar and a troublemaker, or a false prophet like Caiaphas claims? Or was he a true prophet, a healer, a miracle worker, the Messiah, or even the Son of God like he claims? There's some evidence that he was a healer and a miracle worker. Then we come to our second question. What happened to the body?
And here we have two possible options that are complete opposites of each other. One is that his body was taken away during the night by his disciples, that they're off hiding it somewhere. The other is that he did indeed rise from the dead. There's got to be some other logical explanation for all of this. We must consider all possibilities, however vague.
Well, everyone's blaming his friends, the disciples. But what if his enemies stole the body for some nefarious and clandestine, but as yet unknown purpose?
Impressive use of words there, Miss Terry.
Oh, thank you. I've been dying to use them somehow.
So, that is a possibility. Not very likely, but it is possible. What would be their motive?
Well, like I said, as yet unknown, but definitely nefarious and clandestine.
Well, that does seem unlikely. Why not just produce the body now? End the spread of the rumours. What else have you got?
Maybe he wasn't really dead. He could have been unconscious or in a coma or something when they put him in the tomb, and somehow he got out of it himself.
That does seem rather unlikely too. He was crucified by the Romans, after all. Say what you want about the Romans, but they're very good at killing people. Though I suppose we better confirm his death with any witnesses that were there. Also, there was that big rock out the front and the whole squad of soldiers guarding it. How could he manage to get out with all that there?
Well, maybe there was a secret entrance.
We had better confirm that when we investigate the crime scene. All right. What else?
Maybe it wasn't really Jesus they crucified. Maybe a twin brother or a lookalike died in Jesus' place.
That's a bit of a stretch, wouldn't you say? Who in their right mind would willingly be crucified for someone else?
Well, they might do it out of conviction or love. Some people make amazing sacrifices for the people they love.
Oh, okay, I guess we better confirm who... see if we had any lookalikes. Although that does seem unlikely too. Judas did identify him, and he was one of his closest friends before the whole betrayal thing. Okay, any other ideas?
What if they accidentally put the body in the wrong tomb by mistake, and it's still there? In the wrong tomb, I mean, but no one's looking for it there.
That's even more of a stretch.
You said all possibilities, however vague.
Unfortunately, I did say that. Oh, right, we'd better see if we can confirm if anyone saw the burial.
Maybe he was kidnapped by aliens.
No! You I'm not writing that down. I do say, Miss Terry, sometimes you do get rather carried away.
Not by aliens, though.
Anyway, I think that's enough to go on for now.
I wonder what the truth really is about Jesus and his body going missing.
That's what we are going to find out.
Mr. Clues, look, I got Jessie back.
Thanks for giving us the money, Mr. Clues. I thought I was a goner for sure.
I thought he was a goner too.
If there's ever anything we can do for you, let us know.
Oh, there's... Actually, there is. You two have eyes and ears on the street. I want you to go out there and see what the word is about a prophet called Jesus.
You mean the one that was crucified on Friday?
That's the one.
Oh, and see if you can find anything out about the soldiers that were meant to be guarding his tomb.
But we aren't supposed to be investigating them.
We are not. They are.
And we're just a couple of innocent street kids.
Like I believe that.
And we'll just be asking out of curiosity's sake.
We won't let you down, Mr. Clues.
Right. Miss Terry, I think it's time we be off. Let's go investigate that crime scene. Fetch the forensic kit.
Okay, Clues. Why do you insist on wearing that ridiculous outfit?
I'm not quite sure myself. There's something deep within me tells me I should. Anyway, the truth is out there. Let's go find it.
Say what you want, mean what you say. Remember the deepest seeds till find the light of day. Do as you please and be who you be. I'm telling you, this thing's gonna bring you to your knees. The truth is what we need. It is the end of mystery. You know the truth will set you free. The truth is out there. The truth is out there. I am living proof that the Spirit moves. It's a holy interceding absolute. Say what you want. Say what you want, but you've got to believe. There's a dimension that eyes haven't seen. The secret is out, and people are coming clean. People are coming clean. The truth is what we need. It is the end of mystery. You know the truth will set you free. The truth is out there. The truth is out there. Our search is not in vain. The truth what you want. Say what you want, but you've got to believe. There's a dimension that eyes haven't seen. The secret is out, and God knows I'm coming clean. The truth is what we need. It is the end of mystery. You know the truth will set you free. The truth is what we need. It is the end of mystery. You know the truth will set you free. The truth is out there. 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 The truth is out there.
Well then, I believe it's time we start looking for facts and evidence.
Yes, I know the drill.
Miss Terrier, my magnifying glass. Thank you. Ugh.
Look, broken vegetation. Oh, and imprints on the ground, like people fell.
Footprints, lots of them. So many. Almost too many to be of any use. It looks like there was a stampede.
Well, there's heaps of soldiers' boot prints everywhere. But look over here. At the entrance to the tomb, there's only sandal prints. Some smaller ones, possibly women, and some larger men's sandal prints too. All going into the tomb and out again.
No chance of any huge angel footprints over there?
No, but then again, do angels even leave footprints?
There is that. Oh, look in the tomb. There's only grave clothes left.
But why would grave robbers bother to unwrap the body?
You know what this means.
We have a naked, dead body on the loose?
No, far worse. This is going to be a very difficult case to wrap up.
Oh, ha. But you shouldn't joke in a situation like this.
Why not?
Can't you see it's a grave matter? What? Are you just going to stand there, silent as a tomb? You can't think of a good comeback, can you?
No, I'm being dead serious. Anyway, I think you should take a look in there and see what you can find.
Why do I always have to do the dark and dirty stuff?
Because I am the detective, and you are my assistant. Also, I have a thing about dark, cramped, enclosed spaces.
Oh! Are you seeing this? Look! The headcloth is all neatly folded up. Who would do that? And why? And the rest of the grave clothes look like the body just evaporated out of them. It's very weird.
Oh, take a look inside of the grave clothes. Are there many bloodstains?
Oh, there's heaps of them.
It's not looking good for the not really dead theory. even if he was somehow still alive, he would have been very weakened. Bag 'em and tag 'em. Oh, and see if you can find any secret hidden entrances in there. I'll have a look around the outside.
Okay. Nothing in here.
Nothing out here either. It's solid rock. Okay then, it's time we tackle this rock.
I did the 2. You can do the rock.
All right then. It doesn't move. Even if he was a really fit man.
Which you're not.
There's no way he would have been able to move this all by himself, especially with the guard station out front. Get over here, help me.
Fine.
That's 2 of us, and it still doesn't move.
Hello, Mr. Clues.
What on earth are you doing?
We're trying to move this rock.
Well, you're not doing a very good job of it.
Don't just stand there. Get over here, help us.
All right.
Okay. Okay, let's give up. 4 people and this thing just does not budge.
Well, 3, really.
Only a half for each of the kids.
Hey, we're a lot stronger than we look, you know.
No, the half is for you, Clues. The kids each get 3/4.
Anyway, it seems now we can safely conclude it would have required at least 4, if not more, disciples to move that rock. And there's no way the guards would have slept through all of that.
So, what are you 2 doing here anyway?
Yeah, how'd you even know where we'd be?
Like you said, eyes and ears on the street.
Anyway, we've got some information for you.
Yeah, you know those soldiers you told us to ask around about?
Turns out they've suddenly struck it rich.
They've been splashing some money around the local pubs and market stalls.
So they were bribed.
And they've all been sticking to the same story, as if their lives depend on it.
They do.
They've all been saying that Jesus' disciples snuck in and stole the body while they were sleeping.
But one had a bit too much to drink and mentioned needing the drinks because he saw an angel?
Yeah, he definitely said angel. Said it was all huge and glowing. He must have been really drunk.
He also said the only reason they were guarding the tomb in the first place is because the nutter inside said he was going to rise again.
But then the others dragged him away.
Go ahead, drive the nails in my hands, laugh at me where you stand. Go ahead and say it isn't me. The day will come
Who are you? What have you done to my tomb?
I am Detective I See Clues, and I have been hired by Caiaphas himself to investigate the disappearance of a body from this very tomb.
And I'm his long-suffering assistant, Miss Terry.
Well, what about these two?
Oh, they are currently helping us in our inquiries.
We're his feet on the street,
His eyes in disguise.
his ears that hear.
All the mutters from the gutters.
Yes, we get it. Don't you have somewhere else to be?
No.
Well, I think you should find somewhere else to be.
There is that other matter you were asked to look into.
I think they're trying to get rid of us.
All right, we can take the hint.
We'll come back if we find anything new.
Anyway, I am the detective here. I should be the one asking the questions, not you. Sit down. Now, ladies first. Who are you?
I'm Mary Magdalene. I'm one of Jesus' followers. Malchus said you'd be interested in what I have to say.
And you?
I'm Joseph of Arimathea, and I own this tomb. Malchus said you wanted to speak to me. I'm also a member of the Sanhedrin.
The council that sentenced Jesus to death.
Oh, and I do not agree with their decision, nor do I consent to their action.
And why is that?
Oh, well, I've been a secret follower of Jesus for a while now.
You certainly would have blown your cover when you voted against his death.
And when you gave him your tomb.
Yeah, Caiaphas took note of it all. It was his little joke to maybe one of the official council witnesses at his trial before Pilate, and at his death.
What happened at the trial? I heard there was almost a riot.
Oh, yeah. Caiaphas made sure there were people planted in the crowd to stir them up, and their mob mentality just took over. Now, Pilate knew Jesus was innocent, though, and he tried to set him free. So he gave him 39 lashes to try and appease the crowd. Then he offered them a choice between freeing Jesus and that notorious murderer, Barabbas. And they chose Barabbas. Nothing would satisfy their bloodlust. So he finally gave him, and he sentenced Jesus to be crucified. What with the whipping and the fact they made him carry his own cross until he collapsed, Jesus was in a pretty bad way before they even nailed him to that cross. It was horrible watching him die like that.
So, you saw him die?
Yes, I did. It happened around 3 o'clock and it was dark. It had been for a while, since about 3 o'clock, even though it was the middle of the day. And he cried out, "It is finished." And then he died. There was an earthquake. And I found out later, at that exact same moment, the huge curtain in the temple was ripped in two from top to bottom.
That all sounds a bit weird.
For the record, I was there too. I saw him die. And it all happened just as Joseph said. And there were a lot of witnesses there who all tell you the same story.
So, he was definitely dead.
Of course he was dead. I mean, the soldiers, they shoved a sword in his side to make sure, and blood and water came out.
Clues. That is forensic proof that he was dead.
All right, let's assume he was dead. What happened next?
Well, then we took him down from the cross.
And you're sure it was him?
Of course it was him. His mother, Mary, was there, and me, and other women. We helped prepare his body for burial. We had to do it really quickly before the Passover began.
Oh, then we took him to my tomb, this tomb.
No chance of any tomb mix-up?
What, you don't think I know my own tomb?
Besides, the women and I, we followed him there so we would know where he was buried. We watched him bury Jesus in that tomb.
Cross that off the list too.
Mary, why were you a follower of Jesus?
Well, I guess the simple truth is that he saved me. Jesus set me free from demons that had plagued me for years. He loved and accepted me in spite of who I was and the things I had done. I've been a follower of his ever since then.
And Joseph, what about you? Why were you a follower of Jesus, even though it was risky for you in your position?
Well, he's just like no other man I've ever met. He gave me a completely different picture of God to the one I grew up with.
How was it different?
Well, I'm a scholar and I've studied the law and the scriptures, but the God I knew seemed to be harsh and judgmental, all about keeping the law, endless rules, doing things the proper way, and punishment if you didn't. I've spent my entire life trying to do all the right things and follows all those rules and beating myself up when I didn't. Then Jesus turned all that upside down.
What do you mean?
Well, he claimed to be the Son of God, but he spent time with sinners and outcasts and non-Jewish people, the very type of people I've been taught to shun and avoid. He touched lepers and he healed them. He dared to break our laws when they got in the way of loving people. He told us about the Sabbath, like healing people on the Sabbath. And he said to us the Sabbath was made for people and not the other way around. He kept going on and on about how much God loves us. And he showed incredible love and compassion to everyone he met. And you see, I'd missed that. I'd missed all of that in my study of the scriptures. So I went back to them, searching for the truth. And I read with new eyes.
And what did you find?
Well, I found that God's love was all there, plain to see. The story of how God kept loving his people in spite of what they did or how they acted. He never gave up on his people, even though they gave up on him. He kept pursuing them and trying to get them back. I can't believe I missed it.
What's all that got to do with Jesus?
Well, there were all the prophecies and promises of a Messiah, of a Saviour. Jesus once told a friend of mine that God loved the world so much that he sent his only Son to save us. Don't you see? Jesus is God's Son, just as he claimed to be. And he came to save us, to save all of us, and set us free, just as he did for Mary.
That's all a bit of a stretch, don't you think?
Sometimes you've got to look past what you think you know in order to find the truth.
Well, he's dead now. Sort of blows your whole theory out the water, wouldn't you say? In any case, we still have a body to find.
Well, you'll never find it.
So you know where the body's hidden?
You'll never find it because it's not hidden. He's alive.
You're just repeating a rumour.
It's no rumour. I've seen him. I've spoken to him. I've even touched him.
And you expect us to believe that?
It's the truth.
Well, tell us what happened, Mary.
Well, this morning, the other women and I, we were heading to the tomb to finish anointing Jesus' body. On the way, we were wondering what we would do about the soldiers and the huge stone. But when we got there, there was an earthquake, and an angel appeared, and he just rolled away the stone and sat on it.
And you're sure it was an angel?
Of course it was an angel. He was huge, and he shone like lightning, and his clothes were whiter than anything I've ever seen. I think that's pretty good evidence it was an angel. Anyway, The soldiers fainted dead away, and then the angel said, "Don't be afraid. I know you're looking for Jesus, who was crucified and buried here, but he's not here because he has risen as he said he would. See where he lay, and then go and tell the disciples to go to Galilee and you'll find him there." So we looked and the tomb was empty. The other women rushed off to tell the disciples, but I stayed here and I was crying.
Why?
I don't know. I think I was afraid to believe it. But then there was a man there, and he said to me, "Woman, why are you crying, and who are you looking for?" I thought he was the gardener, so I said, "Please, sir, if you've taken my Lord's body, tell me where he is so I can get him." And then he said my name, Mary. And I knew it was Jesus. No one says my name the way he does. I just ran and I hugged him and I held him, and he was real and solid. But he said to me, "Don't hold on to me, but go and tell the disciples." So I did.
Okay, so at first it wasn't him, and then it was him. If you knew him so well, why didn't you recognize him straight away?
I don't know. I think I was caught up in my grief. I wasn't expecting to see him, even though the angel said he was alive.
Well, sometimes we just see what we want to see.
And sometimes we don't see what's right in front of us. Anyway, believe what you want, but that's the truth. And you're not going to find a body because he's alive. And tomorrow, I'm going to go to Galilee to see him.
Hey, for what it's worth, I believe her. It all makes sense to me now. Why he had to die, what he said about rising again, and all the rest. Mary, can I come with you to Galilee? Hey, my days on the Sanhedrin are numbered anyway, and I'd really like to see him again.
Well, thank you for all your time. You've both given us a lot to think about.
Mary, can I talk to you for a minute before you go? About something private.
Sure. What is it?
Well, you see, before I met Clues, I used to live on the streets. I had to do some really awful things just to survive. I thought you might have some idea of what life was like for me back then.
I do. I lived on the street too, before Jesus found me.
You scrub up well.
So do you.
Anyway, Clues rescued me from all that. He gave me a job and a new purpose in life. And so I've tried to put the past behind me and forget about it all.
But
I can't. The past still haunts me. All the shame and the guilt and the self-condemnation and regret for what I did and what was done to me. It's like chains around me. Then there's the bitterness and the anger and the fear. I still have nightmares. But you get the idea, don't you?
I understand exactly what you're saying.
I knew you would. Clues just doesn't get it. He says I should just move on. So, how do you deal with it. You said that Jesus set you free, but did he set you free from all that too?
Yes, he did. Those things you're talking about, they're impossible to get rid of or deal with by yourself. I mean, like you said, they just keep coming back. And believe me, I tried. But what changed it all for me was when Jesus said, "Your sins are forgiven." It was like a weight just lifted off me, and I truly was free, and I could start again.
Only God can forgive sins.
Jesus is the Son of God.
Well, how do you really know that?
Oh, I think the fact that he rose from the dead is a pretty good clue, don't you?
That's what we're trying very hard to disprove.
But you can't, can you? And if you're looking for more evidence, I mean, I can tell you all the things I've seen him do and his goodness to me in my life. Look, why don't you come to Galilee with me and see him for yourself? Anyway, I'd better be going.
Well, thank you for listening, Mary. Goodbye.
I'm not going to say goodbye. I think I'll be seeing you again soon.
Well then, Miss Terry, I think it's about time we call it a day and head back to the office.
Clues? Do you really think that Jesus could have risen?
I don't know. The evidence is pointing more and more in that direction, and they have a saying in detective circles. When you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth.
All throughout my history, your faithfulness has walked beside me. The winter storms made way for spring.
No, he isn't.
I just thought I'd drop by to see how the case is going. Caiaphas is getting very anxious about the outcome, and believe me, when Caiaphas is anxious, everybody around him is...
Oh, so anxious?
No, in a blind panic.
Well, it doesn't matter which way you slice it. Caiaphas's correct story just doesn't hold any water. There's too much evidence against it.
I did tell him that story was a bit thin, but I'm just a servant. What would I know?
Why not? What's worse, we keep getting more and more evidence for the last thing Caiaphas wants us to prove.
Caiaphas isn't going to like that. Oh no, Caiaphas is not going to like that.
That's what I said.
Have we got some information for you?
Turns out that Jesus guy really has risen from the dead.
Everybody is talking about it.
Although, not too loudly in case Caiaphas and the Sanhedrin hear them.
The disciples were so scared that they've hidden themselves in a locked room.
But they couldn't hide from us. We tracked him down.
Turns out they needed a couple of messages sent, and we just so happened to be around. No one worries about a couple of kids.
But then, all of a sudden, Jesus appeared in the middle of the room saying, "Peace be with you."
Everyone's eyes practically fell out of their heads. And let me tell you, peace was not with them.
He even showed them the marks in his hands and his feet to prove, and a few of them even touched them. Yuck, that was gross.
And just to prove that he wasn't gross, he ate a piece of fish.
He was talking to them about stuff and everyone forgot we were even there.
But then he was gone. He just disappeared.
And after that, as we were leaving, we met with two disciples who had just got back from walking to Emmaus with Jesus that afternoon.
The funny thing is, they didn't even know it was him they were talking to. He was explaining to them about why Jesus had to die in the first place and about how he would rise again. They didn't even know it was Jesus.
That was until they sat down to eat some food and Jesus broke the bread in the way he always did. Then they realized who they'd been talking to.
So they ran all the way back to tell all the other disciples. Don't you think it's pretty cool?
Yes, it's very cool, but not so good for our case.
Thanks for all your hard work. You really did a great job. Here, for all the effort you went to.
Whoa, a silver coin. I don't think I've ever held a silver coin before.
Hey, let me hold it. I want to hold it too.
That wasn't one of the coins that Caiaphas gave you, was it?
What does it matter? He's going to kill us all anyway.
Do you think they were telling the truth?
Of course they were telling the truth. They may just be street kids, but they've never lied to me. They're the most reliable source of information I've got.
Malchus, I was wondering, why did you send us Joseph and Mary to interview? You could have sent us other witnesses who were more likely to back up Caiaphas' claims, but you didn't.
Well, I suppose I wanted to know what you would find out. I mean, unlike my master, I think I actually do want to know the truth.
Well, you've found it.
I hope you're happy.
What are we going to do now?
You know that holiday I've been promising you? How about we go right now? On a very, very long holiday. I hear Greece is lovely this time of year.
I've always wanted to see the world. Now we can afford to go first class.
But that's Caiaphas' money.
What does it matter? Like Clue said, we're dead if he catches us anyway. Do you think we could go to Greece via Galilee by any chance?
I think it is essential we go to Greece via Galilee.
What are you doing? You can't leave. You can't leave me. You can't leave me here alone.
Make sure that you leave enough stuff lying around so Caiaphas doesn't realize we've gone.
But you can't leave me. Caiaphas is going to blame it all on me. He's going to take it all out on me. No, you have to take me with you. Please, take me with you. Please take me with you.
Oh, all right. But you get to carry our bags.
Yeah. You know, Jesus once said that when you find the truth, the truth will set you free.
Only if Caiaphas doesn't catch us first.
One day when sin was as black
just want to leave you with some thoughts if I can. There was something during that drama that you've heard it before, but there was that quote that whenever you eliminate everything which is impossible, then whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. This account of Jesus dying and coming back to life, being raised, is not a fictional story, friends. It's true. Jesus was a real person. Sorry, Jesus is a real person. He's also God. And so he came down to save us from our brokenness, from our struggles, from our pain, and then bring us back to a relationship with his Father. Friends, the evidence is there. The first person to actually encounter resurrected Jesus was Mary. And I love it because she didn't expect it. She thought he was the gardener. She was in her grief. Yet, as soon as he called her by name, she knew. Mary, is that you, Lord? My Saviour? See, friends, for us, it's not a story back in Bible times. It's a story that affects us now. See, the cast members who have given time for this, the band members, those behind the desk, those who helped put this on, have also encountered resurrected Jesus. They've also have heard their name. And so I want to encourage you, if you're not sure about who Jesus is, I encourage you to find someone to talk to. We've got our ushers that have a little Ask Me badge. Encourage you to have a chat with them or band member or cast afterwards. If you're still not sure, we've got Easter Sunday service at 9 o'clock that we encourage you to come. We just don't want this to be a missed opportunity if you're like, I think I've seen the evidence of Jesus in my life. Just a couple of thanks, if that's okay. Firstly, I just want to thank the band again for the long practices you've done. You've probably been practicing since November. No. Before Lent started, I know at least. The sound guys at the back, the cast again, wonderful job. Everything that you've done. Can we just give them all big hands? Just particularly also thank you to our writer and director who has been doing this, and I say it every single time, since I was the kid's age. Verena, again, thank you very much for just blessing us with that. Also, just a little token to say thank you because you've been doing that. Yeah, if you can come up. As I said, she's been doing it that long, so I think it's good to honour that. And so just a little token of saying thank you particularly to you, Verena. Just come on up. Just coming up. And I reckon the next one will be Callie, because I know she's been doing the band as long too. Thank you, Callie. So thank you, Verena, again, for probably half the people in this room have been in the production. Again, just the work that you do for getting the people, for starting writing since Christmas when you've already done the last one, thank you. So again, let's just thank Verena. Have a blessed, safe Easter. I think I can smell hot cross buns, so if you haven't had enough yet, good luck. But hopefully we'll see you next time.